Well, here we are. Another day of chaos in the Middle East. Just like we said yesterday, that Trump was gonna take this straight or make some declarations of it being open, and lo and behold, we have our first ship sinking. So I think it was actually two ships that were sunk that were U.S. naval ships. One definitely is for sure. And nobody died, but the ship sunk. And apparently Iran tried to warn them, but apparently, allegedly, it was being ignored. And apparently they also said that they went in because the administration was saying that the strait was open. So that's kind of exactly what was to be expected. There's probably going to be more of that in the coming days. And yeah, we're kind of at a stalemate here because Iran is still hardlining, saying it's not open. Trump is literally saying it is open. So I think people are going to try to cross. I think there's going to be a lot of successful crossings. I think some ships will be destroyed. I think a lot more will be destroyed. And that's going to put pressure on the administration. And exactly what Israel wants. So this is not ending anytime soon. I don't know why the administration keeps assuming it's over every day. It's not over just by itself, but also for the fact that the other players involved, the United States deep state and Israel, are not finished with this, and Trump wants to be. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at, and that's happened today, that ship that sank. Yeah. So the contradicting reports, Iran is saying this, the US is saying that, and that's always going to be the case throughout the rest of this war. So no matter what happens from here on out, Iran is going to say this, and the US is going to say that. And that's why people need to kind of pay attention and know what's happening, because when you have two sides telling you different things, you got to know what's happening. So I don't think anything major is probably going to happen in the near future here, but there's going to have to be more events, big events, that's going to have to keep this war going. And yeah, so they're planning stuff. And obviously Iran is not going to just back down. They will fight to their dying day. So it would be everybody's best interest if this just ended and we gave Iran respect and told Israel to be quiet. But yeah, that's not going to happen. But that is kind of the major story today. Lindsey Graham died. Mitch McConnell, we don't know if he's alive. Yeah. So, but I don't really want to talk about that because I don't want to give these people my time of day, I guess. I mean, I think we all know who these people are. So, yeah. But nothing really major inside the U.S. Obviously, there's still ICE problems with the media, and there's still some protests here and there, but I don't even think anything like that major is gonna escalate in regards to ICE. They would have to plant a false flag, which they can do, but again, false flags are much harder to do the way we think of them, because everyone has a phone and everyone has internet and everything's on video. It's really hard to get away with that type of stuff, especially now when everyone's aware of their past acts, like September 11th and all that, coronavirus. So, Libya, we can go on, but anyway, it's much harder for them to do false flags because of all this information that's out there now. And, like I said, everyone's on some sort of recording video. As soon as you step outside, you're on video somewhere. So it's really hard to get away with stuff, and that's why I don't necessarily think they would do a false flag. I think they would straight up nuke Iran or assassinate the president, which they've tried to do. So I think we're kind of leaning more towards that route because it would be more impactful and it would be more safe for them. You know, they could get away with it more. So anyway, we'll see what happens today, tomorrow, because as far as right now, the administration is still saying the strait's open. Iran is saying it's closed. And that's where we're at. So people that need to cross the strait don't know what to do. And yeah, and the whole Russia-Ukraine thing we could talk about, but I don't really see an end in that regard, in that war, because the main focus is the Iran-Israel situation. And that's going to be the focus. Because it's more potent, I guess. It's more... They can do more with the Iran war situation than the Russia-Ukraine war situation, even with people being aware of how manipulative Israel and Iran has been. So they're kind of putting all their chips in that, and if I were to guess, I would just say they'd probably try to kill Trump, and I would assume it would be Israel that would blame Iran, and I'm sure people in Iran, Hamas, and certain factions would take credit for it, just like Al-Qaeda did with 9/11. They just took the credit for it. I mean, they got all this praise for it and everything. So that's probably the most likely scenario. But not far off from that scenario is a tactical nuke being dropped by Israel, or the U.S. encouraged by Israel. There are some nuclear reacting facilities underground in Iran that a lot of people don't know about, and they're actually more fortified than the ones that we destroyed in Fordo last year with Operation Midnight Hammer. So, and these people, a lot of people are saying that these nuclear facilities under these granite mountains, the only way to destroy it would be a tactical nuke, and even that's not a guaranteed. So the only option for US or Israel would be a tactical nuke if they make that their top priority, which eventually will be their top priority because they don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon so that they can't say no to Israel or the US like every other Middle East country had to bend the knee to the US. So they're gonna go after every nuclear thing possible. And that's why they were even saying last year after the Midnight Hammer, they were saying, this is great, but it's not 100%. We might have to go back in there. And the only way to go back in there now is with the nuke. So I think if they can't assassinate Trump, then they'll use a nuke. So that's kind of where we're at with that. And hopefully something crazy happens and we all get saved from this. But that's probably not going to happen. But on the positive side, there is some major positive news economically with the U.S. and Trump is doing a lot of good things. A lot of it gets overshadowed with foreign involvements, and some of it is justified. But we would be in a much worse position if Trump was not alive or in office. So that's kind of positive, and we are heading towards the right direction. but it's not going to happen overnight. And when Trump leaves or gets killed, whoever comes next is going to be very important, because I think it'd be very easy for someone to just come in and undo what Trump has done, just like Trump has undone what Biden did, undone what Obama did. So we'd hate for all this to go for nothing. So we'll see what happens. That's still 2 years away, but they still might assassinate him before then. And we all know that that's a very real possibility. Very real. So just keep that in mind. But other than that, it's been kind of quiet here in the U.S. The media is trying to hype some stuff up, like, oh, the small protest over here or over there. But honestly, nothing's really happening here. A lot of stuff's happening foreignly, I guess. But yeah, we'll see what happens. That's kind of all that we have today. But just like we said, you got to just keep your eye on the Strait of Hormuz, because that's where everything's going down, and that's where the main stuff will be taking place. Because, again, you have the administration saying it's open, you have Iran saying it's not open, you have Iran firing at ships and sinking one today. There's going to be more, because Iran is saying it's not open. And then people are going to be blaming the U.S., saying you said it was open and you didn't protect us, and Trump's going to have to respond to that. So you can see how easily this could spiral. And you could also see how easily Trump himself could just get so angry at all this, and how it's hurting his legacy, and how Iran just will not surrender. I could see him using a nuke. But he would find a way to justify it for himself. Now, the rest of the world probably wouldn't justify it, but so this is just where we're at. And again, I trust Trump. It's just I don't trust Israel, and I don't trust the United States deep state, especially if they're working together. Trump can only do so much. So, and Trump really seems to kind of go along with Israel. So I could very easily see him making this war last longer than he's in the office. Just because Israel will come crying saying, you can't leave us. So hopefully Trump can just have a change of heart and say, no, we're done. Fight your own wars. But again, that's kind of a 50-50 chance. I wouldn't put any faith into either or. But yeah, that's kind of what's happening today. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I expect more activity in the Strait. And yeah, hopefully no more ships get blown up, but don't be surprised if they do, because Iran is saying it's not open, and we will fire at ships. So yeah, so we'll see what happens. Have a great day, and hopefully the world is more at peace tomorrow.